What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Sonic the Hedgehog here, and I'm Piglet here. We are back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Mario Party 10 for the Nintendo Wii U. So last time we have managed to able to fully conclude the forms of the entire mode in Bowser Party while going through Chaos Castle, in this case the best board ever in terms of likely for both modes in particular. And while we're at it, we did manage to win all of the boards in between these two modes right here. So today, for this particular point, we're about to be moving on to the third and the final main mode before we get on to the extra stuff, and that is by the forms of somewhere on the left. There you can definitely see that familiar icon, which if we're about to be hit the, well, let's say if we use the Wii remote right here, then we get ourselves amiibo. And what that means, since I've got myself my Toad amiibo with our hands, so if we manage to scan over to the NFC reader on the Wii U gamepad right here, so that way we can able to unlock the amiibo party. Ah, I see. So we got ourselves the third main mode of the game, which appears to be amiibo party, which in order to be able to actually just get to this mode, you need to be sure you need to purchase one of those amiibos. But not just any amiibo, but a Mario-themed character amiibo, which there are Mario, Luigi, Peach, Yoshi, Toad, and Bowser, but that was back in the day. It wasn't until in 2016 that they've managed to finally got themselves Wario, Rosalina, and Donkey Kong amiibo, and that way we actually get ourselves a complete full set. Even though despite the fact that Wario, Rosalina, and Donkey Kong Super Mario amiibo lineup doesn't get released around the same time as when Mario Party Star Rush came out. So either way though, something's worth mentioning by the way. So either way though, as you can see on screen, we're obviously going to be selecting Toad as the amiibo figure, which, you know, Toadie's awesome. And alongside with those specific stuff, we also got ourselves those, you know, computer players, which for whatever reason, they just comes in with the actual cardboard cutouts of themselves. For now on, let's go ahead and just select some of these computer players based off from, let's go for Mario and Luigi and Peach. By the way, there's something hilarious about this, is the fact that you can able to create the duplicates of themselves, mainly with 4 Toads as you can see. And yeah, I found this a little bit crazy because I've seen a lot of YouTube videos about this during the forms of the actual amiibo party sessions. So even though from now on, let's go ahead and select those characters based off from the playable characters based off from, you know, Super Mario Bros. 2 and Super Mario 3D World. So we figure we might as well able to save for this point right here. So either way though, but by the way, you got to go how to use amiibo a lot for the sake of the majority of amiibo party, because you have to scan your amiibo a lot for a lot of things actually, like getting things started and also just trying to go for, well, we'll talk more about this until whenever we dive right in. So either way though, let's scan our amiibo into our gamepad. And by the way, we have to use the Wii remote as well, so that way we can able to play as one of those individual figurines themselves. And yeah, let's get started with Amiibo Party for Mario Party 10. And to start things off, you do realize it's the fact that we actually got ourselves our familiar gameplay style where we all know and love. But first of all, let's go ahead and use the special token that we can able to accept and equip, which by simply to do this is the fact that you can able to actually just to always scan your amiibo onto your NFC reader on the Wii U gamepad. And by the way, as I said this before, you have to do this a lot for the majority of this mode, meaning that if you're trying to do a rolling dice segment, you have to do that the same thing as well. And also not to mention is the fact that with certain activities here and there, that you have to do those a lot as well. And also the same applies to the forms of how the fact that we can expect able to utilize some tokens with it. So either way though, let's go ahead and oh, what's this? Let's not use this just yet, because either way, oh yeah, there's gonna be a lot of forced activities, such as, of course, in Toad board right here, that we need to able to exchange the actual cost of how much the star will cost. You know, think of like how it does it in Fair Square Nighttime version in Mario Party 6, and especially noticeable with Peculiar Peak for Mario Party 7. And what else is on there in terms of exchanging those coins from the start? I think that's about it, basically, if I recall correctly. But either way, though, still, but yeah, that's how I can think about it. So yeah, regardless of the forms of Amiibo Party's gameplay style, this might be familiar to you for those who are the Mario Party fans such as ourselves. Basically, it plays exactly like a classic old-school Mario Party game after all, right? Well, turns out it might be true because you can able to now move individually and stuff like that, and the objective is to... Excuse me. The objective of this particular mode, as far as you guys should already know, and that was the fact that whoever collects the most stars and most coins by the end of the game wins. So this might be cool, right? Well, for the most part, well, maybe. Well, we'll get to more negative things about this mode until whenever we get on to, you know, the next few minigames worth noting for. So in this case, we hit on to the second round, which, you know, plays exactly like how it did in the traditional Mario Party gameplay style we all know and love. That we actually get ourselves mini-games based off of what turns we're going to be moving on to. However, here's the biggest downside about this, but we'll explain more about this until likely for later. But for now, we're going to have to play through Flash Forward again, so even though we've already played this before, so there's no anything else commented on it, so... You know what's kind of weird is the fact that between Daisy and Waluigi, despite the fact that they've got their amiibo figurines already since 2016 and stuff like that, apparently Mario Party 10 does not feature any version updates. So either way though, that seems a little bit redundant, especially noticeable how the Wii U's life cycle is actually like short-lived, unlike the ones how it does it in most other Nintendo consoles, like, you know, Nintendo Wii and stuff like that. That particular console had pretty good lifespan, but not so much on the Wii U because of commercial failure and stuff. But we digress. So let's just go ahead and keep on moving here, even though that the price of the actual star is now changed to 15, and somehow we just only got a 1. By the way, if you manage to get yourselves your own amiibo, sometimes you can able to hear the cool own version of the musics themselves, which I think is actually pretty cool. Like, for instance, if we manage to able to get Toad's turn in our amiibo figurine, the actual music theme you'll be hearing is actually a remix of Super Mario Bros. 3 Toad House theme. And if you're trying to scan in a Mario amiibo, you get yourselves a cool remix version of that particular overworld theme from Super Mario Bros. And also same applies to the forms of, if you scan in the Luigi amiibo, you get yourselves a cool Luigi's Mansion remix theme. And I'm presuming Peach, you get yourselves a Super Mario 64 Castle remix theme. And Yoshi, you can get yourselves the Yoshi's Island remix. And also, if you get Rosalina, that her music choice was actually based off from Super Mario Galaxy in the Comet Observatory. And also, if you scan in Donkey Kong, I presume you get yourselves a the Jungle Hijinks music theme remix from Donkey Kong Country. And Wario, I'm presuming his theme was actually based off from Wario Land, the Shake Dimension, in Journey forms of, you know, with the first ever level, not counting the tutorial level. Oh yeah, I know about that. So basically, that yeah, just gets like a cool Wario Land, the Shake Dimension remix theme, Journey forms of Amiibo Party. And finally, the forms of, well, we're not going to discuss on this until tomorrow, because we couldn't figure we can able to do something in Journey forms of the entirety of this weekend, because today is actually the forms of, the 30th of May today, in this case in 2020, so we're actually getting really close towards the end of May, so yeah, for the majority of the time, it's the fact that, oh great, we have to play Fruit Cahoots again. Oh boy, we're going back into that luck-based minigame again, so that's kinda sucks. But I digress. So either way, yeah, because we're not gonna discuss onto the secrets here likely until tomorrow, because we'll save that until tomorrow's video, because we figure we might as well able to do 2 Amiibo party sessions. Like, the first one is pretty obvious, we're going to show off the Toad board version of that, and then afterwards though, we'll probably discuss on that later. Because from now on, we'll just have to focusing on this minigame as it is, even though despite the fact that we keep on getting very unlucky moments here and there, like, you know, just trying to grab some dang apples and stuff. But, you know, that's how luck-based events always comes in, Piglets. That always gets pretty much random. Okay, something worth mentioning also is the fact that what makes this mode very much feels like it's pretty lackluster in comparison to the let's just say in the future Mario Party games, for likely from ND Cube or something like that. That basically that specifically in Mario Party Star Rush and Super Mario Party, well, at least in the top 100, you only have to play through one board, which actually act out pretty same. So either way though, as far as you guys should already know, that obviously the gameplay style from Amiibo Party plays out exactly like how it did in the old school days. However, I will say, out of all the actual modes in Mario Party 10 of how this game offers us, Amiibo Party probably is the weakest mode of the whole entire game. This is pretty obvious because, well, it definitely has some little bit of fun to it, but as far as the actual third and the final main mode of how Mario Party 10 offers us too, this is kind of disappointing if you ever to become a huge fan of the old school traditional classic style of Mario Party, whilst in this just feels like a watered down version of the classic old school Mario Party game we all know and love, including Super Mario Party. So, what can we start with this? Well, first of all, that if you don't have the amiibo with you, well, you can't even play this mode, so you need to able to buy one, although it seems pretty rare every now and then because of how the fact that with the coronavirus situation, plus because of how the fact that most collectors always seem to able to sell some sealed up versions of some of those amiibo figures themselves, and that just gets outrageously expensive whenever they just trying to able to get the rarity out of it. But you know, that's just how inconvenient that is. So yeah, another thing is worth mentioning though is the fact that, well, I'm assuming if you're trying to able to get Dr. Mario amiibo, or Bowser Jr. amiibo, or Diddy Kong amiibo, those amiibos will not work. Unlike in, you know, Mario Party Star Rush, they're able to actually have us some bit of features throughout, like, you know, you can play as Bowser Jr. and even not to mention, if you get Boo, and if you try to scan in this into Mario Party 10, well, it might not do anything apart from the fact that we'll just give you some random Mario Party points, which is also a good way you can able to get Mario Party points in during the forms of, well, we'll show this off until the extra video, or in this case, the finale video of this entire Let's Play until at some point, you know, Journey forms at some point in June, so hopefully we should able to make it count. Alright, 2 versus 2, we have Reveling Relay. I think to me though, this minigame can get pretty difficult to win this sometimes. I have no idea why. Alright, take turns pedaling the platforms and jump with 2. This minigame sort of feels like it's very similar to pedal to the paddle from the likes of Mario Party 9. Like, you know, you have to get to the goal before Bowser Jr. makes it. But what makes things a little bit difficult for us is the fact that, I swear to God, our timing is way too off. And even especially noticeable how the fact that we keep on losing by most of those computer players, because, man, computer players are so good at this minigame, which I have no idea why that we found this a little bit annoying to win. Well, usually because of how the fact that sometimes the momentum sometimes gets screwed over, and yeah, looks like we haven't made it there. But yeah, I swear to God, this is by far one of the hardest minigames to win, at least if depending on what difficulty computer players you'd be selecting. But that's just me. But at least we did actually showcase off that minigame though, at least, so either way, we'll just have to deal with that, I suppose, in terms of losing the minigames themselves. But I digress. So anyways, let's see what number we can get for this roll. And... oh, really? Okay, whatever. At least we'll take a warp. Warp shouldn't be too bad, though. Speaking of spaces, actually, it's the fact that we actually got these familiar spaces. If you're a long-time fan of the old-school Mario Party games, we all know, like the blue spaces, which actually give you coins, and then if you land on a red space, it'll give you negative coins. The happening space allows you to able to activate something like a special event of some kind, and the green exclamation mark spaces actually activate something depending on what board themes you're going to be playing through. Actually, I also want to point things out later, because from now on, let's discuss about the fact that what's the biggest disappointing about the forms of this mode in general compared to the other two. Basically, it's like a bare bones version of Mario Party. Like, it does have some little bit of some familiar spaces, as we all know. But however though, the entire board itself is almost like a square. Which I was like, I kinda wish there was actually more variety in them. At least, compared to Super Mario Party, they did manage to bring back the classic roots, and they sort of did that just fine. Like, trying to able to add it in some of those cool environments in here and there. Although, the only downside about that is the fact that it's all title-based, not just, you walk around everywhere, unlike the old school days. But I digress, I'm just a little bit too nitpicking right here. I'm sure most people already know this at this point. And, finally, the most of the boards, depending on what amiibos you'll be scanning in, it's all pretty much the same. So it doesn't matter which ones you'll be scanning in. That's, well, the only noticeable difference between those playable characters, at least depending on what amiibos you scan in, that it's all cosmetic differences, not just like remapping the map. It's all just all in a square, which I was like, this is incredibly bare bones as we can get. But either way though, that's all I can really say about it. Yeah, so did I. Especially noticeable how the fact that most people seem to agree with me on this point. Or even in this case though, Sonic, we agree to that. But we digress. Although we're actually looking forward to that, back in the forms of Nintendo Direct in 2015, like seeing the forms of the classic old school gameplay style returning at long last after the events of Mario Party 8 and Mario Party DS. But after realizing something is the fact that since this is now 2020, this mode is easily the weakest. So as a result, yeah, it doesn't seem to have that much more, much of an impact compared to the forms of how it does it in, you know, the ones in the old school days. You know, like everyone seemed to prefer Mario Parties 1 through 8, and even DS as a result, despite what the handheld's limitations of shorter space storage or something. But either way, that's all I can really think about it. Alright, so let's see. Alright, so we can... Oh, sweet! Thank you! So hopefully we should able to get another star thanks to that. So yeah, we got ourselves 2 stars in 1 turn. How's up for that? Alright, something's worth mentioning also is the fact that while you start the actual, they turn off like the normal kind of stuff, like without getting interrupted by the minigame, unlike in Sonic Shuffle. Although we'll talk more about Sonic Shuffle whenever we get onto that Let's Play at some point in the future, but not now though, because we have to mainly focusing on, you know, Mario Party 10 as it is, and all that jazz, so you probably get the idea. Alright, so looks like Luigi's gonna purchase himself his next star. So yeah, as you can see on these certain parts of the board, there are plentiful of tokens. What we can do with it is the fact that you can able to actually purchase, or in this case, not so much purchase, but you can able to actually scan your amiibo. If you somehow manage to come across into one of those familiar tokens, you can able to use them in some specific effects. Like as you saw in the beginning, that we did manage to accept ourselves the Dash Special Gold token, which actually receives 5 dice blocks all in one. And what happens is the fact that if you somehow scan that amiibo token, you can able to actually use that item. So either way though, because that's the reason why we used that since the very beginning, because of that though, we just wanted able to get that first star already, so... Anyway, cloud cover, we've already seen this before. Okay, something's worth mentioning also is the fact that we have totally forgot to mention about this ever since in Mushroom Park, that you know with that particular minigame we've played, which is of course Hard Hearing, that minigame in North America was also known as Goomba Gotcha, which I'm presuming that's what they're going for here, probably because it's all around like different variations of some of these Goombas themselves or something, so yeah, that's all I can really think about this for the time. So even then, I just want to point things out for a little bit of a updating worth noting for notice. Seems that we have not played that much new minigames, I'm afraid, like just trying to show things off. But either way though, we're able to actually show those off. During the forms of after we've done through the amiibo party, then we can move on to other side of things. Like specifically, you know, just coin challenge and also minigame tournament and etc, etc. Even though we haven't got that much left to show off, because either way though, that aside from likely to be the second shortest Mario Party Let's Play we've ever done for our channel, but either way though, we'll leave it to that I suppose. Alright, so let's go ahead and use the 456 dice block token. And what's cool about the actual tokens themselves is the fact that you can able to save your progress, at least if you manage to get yourselves your token with you throughout the majority of the run through. That means you can able to keep those, you know, those tokens as much as you want and save your progress. Yeah, which is cool all in all. And also as you can see on this little base, that Toad got himself the actual gold stand. And, we'll talk more about that later. Because for now, let's activate the Star Cannon, which basically not only does it able to give you opportunities to able to, well, that's quite multiple stars on one screen, or in this case in the entire map. Sometimes depending on what board maps you're going to be able to be scanning through in terms of the rest of the characters, sometimes a little bit differs depending on what situations they have. Like specifically, I believe in these exclamation mark spaces that if you somehow manage to utilize in the Mario board, that gets like an item shop, and then I believe for Luigi's board that you'll receive coins during that little capsule thing. And I'm not exactly sure about Peach though, or even especially noticeable with Yoshi in particular, because it has been donkey's years since we played Amiibo Party. But we do know Toad's one though, is the fact that if you somehow manage to land on those spaces in Toad board, you're able to actually launch multiple stars all at once. And as far as Wario's is concerned, I'm pretty sure you're able to get like a treasure or something. But that again though, we have not played Amiibo Party for quite a long while actually, so shape up, a new minigame. Oh yeah, by the way, since we got ourselves a P-Switch token, this means that what it allows you to do is to switch over to a different minigame, which always like, let's not do that right now because we're playing a new minigame after all, so grab blocks with A and stack them up to the line. So either way though, we just have to, hopefully God forbid, trying to able to shut up airplane. Sorry about that folks. Anyway, yeah, this minigame kind of reminds me of that micro game from WarioWare's Move Moves, except a noticeable difference now, that rather than just able to actually just trying to balance out the Wii Remote, instead we need to able to balance it out with the stack of blocks by simply pointing and clicking. So it's an alright minigame, but then again there's nothing too groundbreaking or anything. Unlike the some good minigames here and there of how this game offers us to. But you know, you get the idea for that point, so seriously, what's the point about having long loading times in between, you know, after each turn or anything like that? I would specifically, it only applies to Amiibo Party, which I have no idea why they just take it, doesn't take that much longer during the forms of, well, to be more specifically, no matter what though, let's try to go ahead and get the Yoshi board token, and if you somehow manage to obtain that, your previous one will be replaced, so yeah, just want to classify that. Alright, so let's see what events we can get. Change places to another player, which in this case, oh, we actually get 2 spaces above from Mario's. Even though it really does not matter, because I'm pretty sure Mario will make it to the star space no matter what, such as, of course, he's going to be using this slow dice block, as you can see. Even though, no, it almost kind of reminds me like a sluggish room from the likes of both Mario Party 6 and 7, so yeah, but we'll get to those Let's Play at some point in the future though, but not now though, because either way, you know. Alright, so Star Exchange is now going to be... Which one's it going to be this time? Oh, it's not changed, okay. So it's still gonna be 10 coins, which, kind of thinking about it, it always reminds me of Super Mario Party in terms of likely the star exchange. Especially noticeable in Super Mario Party Star Rush and the top 100. Like going through likely Balloon Bash and Star Rush, and as well as minigame match in the top 100. So even then I thought to myself, that feels kind of similar for that price count or something like that. So as far as the actual unseen minigames that we have not shown yet, we still got a whole way of things to go in terms of free-for-all, but at least we can still manage to play them until whenever we get on to, you know, just coin challenge, and also same applies to minigame tournaments, depending on what the actual roulettes were able to become. Alright, so now the actual coins counter is now slightly higher up, and sure enough, Peach gets enough coins to able to purchase her next star. Strangely enough, however, though, is the fact that this board, or any kind of amiibo party board, only features only one Bowser space, which, either way though, seems a little bit odd to only have like one Bowser space in between. But we digress. Oh yeah, something worth mentioning too is the fact that, unlike in the old school Mario Party games, that, you know how the fact that we always have like last 5 turn events? Well, last 4 turns if you play Mario Party 7. Basically you get yourselves some sort of like a different effect if what happens during by the end of the game. Well, depending on what boards you're going to be playing through. However though, in this particular game this time around though, is the fact that, although similar to Super Mario Party, that you only get like last 3 turn events kind of stuff. Yeah, it's kind of odd, but either way though, I just want to point that out right away. But anyways, let's go ahead and play through Fuzzy Flyers once again, even though we have not played mini match, or especially noticeable with the other mini game that we do not even know what the next mini game is, but oh well. So anyway though, let's just go ahead and dodge a lot of fuzzies, and Peach just got out already, and Mario's in 3rd place, and sure enough, Luigi's in 2nd place. So yeah, we still managed to win, right? Especially noticeable how frantic and also how great this minigame can be. But anyway, but that's probably just me anyway though, I have no idea why I'm just truly saying this right now. Alright, another thing we'd like to talk about this actually is the fact that we used to have ourselves GoldenEye 007 for the Nintendo Wii, that compared that to the N64 version, that, I don't know, I kind of prefer the N64 version a lot more, just because of the actual recognizable areas I always seem to have nostalgia feelings with. Nothing bad on the Wii version though, but unfortunately we no longer have the Wii version specifically because, well, do you remember the phones of Nintendo Wi-Fi connection and stuff like that? Well, that's no longer going to be present at this time and go forth. Plus, I found the actual Wii Remote first-person shooting kind of stuff. Well, at least we still haven't get a chance to play Metroid Prime 3 Corruption just yet, because either way though, we still need to get on to Metroid Prime 1 and 2 in our own time. So, either way though, it looks like the now price is... oh, it's no change. And by the way, something's worth mentioning, in during forms of the home straight kind of scenario, basically that, much like in Mario Party 1 all the way up to 4, and especially noticeable with Super Mario Party and Mario Party mode, that basically if you land on the blue spaces, you get double the amount of coins you get. Like, originally you get 3, but now in during forms of the almost there kind of scenario, that you get yourselves like 6 coins, just like in Mario Party 1 through 4, including Super Mario Party. And also, you know, it helped the fact that we actually got 2 stars this time as opposed to 1. So as a result, there's going to be a lot of chances that you might able to actually get multiple stars. In the sake of Toad Sport, as you can see, that we actually get ourselves a whole lot of them around here. Like, I would say we actually got about 8 stars shown up, and I'm pretty sure Luigi gets his good advantage by using the reverse dice block, which, if you remember from Mario Party 3, which is of course the reverse mushroom, that it functions the same thing from here, except it's just a normal reverse dice block, not just the actual reverse mushroom. So, yeah, something's worth mentioning with that little cool callback from Mario Party 3, which either way though, that seems cool enough. But I digress. Alright, so looks like Peach got only a 1, so that's pretty bad luck for her. So even then though, she'll get her another dice block, which speaking of reverse dice block, there you go. Alright, talking of playing some minigames actually, you're only going to be playing through 9 of them, sadly. So either way though, I just want to point that out. So either way, we still have not played Boo Burglars yet. Oh, that's kind of stinks. But oh well, we'll show those off during the forms of, you know, free play mode. And also, because of how the fact that since we played this minigame before, and last time we have to able to hold the Wii Remote horizontally, now we can able to actually hold the Wii Remote vertically this time. So it's a little bit of a change of pace for our knowledge or something like that. So for the sake of time, it's actually a little bit more of some sort of a similar thing, except, well, in a different places that we can able to take control of. Peach, what the heck is wrong with you? What the heck is wrong with you? But either way though, I'm pretty sure we still managed to win no matter what, so yeah, we did manage to win this after all. So yeah, that's all I can really think about it. Alright. I do like the fact that Luigi decides to able to twitching his fingers when he loses the minigame, which he also does that in Super Mario Party, by the way. Oh yeah, exactly, because we just keep on sawing that since you and Pinkie Pie did manage to tackle for that game since last year. Oh yeah, I remember that. I do remember that. Anyways, for the sake of clarity, let's go ahead and use our special token, in this case 1, 2, 3 dice block, even though it might seems a bit redundant to use it. But regardless of everything else, we might as well try to get ourselves 2 or 1. Well, in this case 3, as what is shown here. And hopefully we should able to not only purchase 2 stars, but also we can able to get ourselves our next special dice block. So hopefully everything else checks out there, and yeah. Alright, so let's go ahead and get ourselves the 4, 5, 6 dice block, which should be useful. Okay, something worth mentioning also is the fact that if you somehow, although you can still able to actually play this, but if only if someone is in 2-player or 3-player or 4-player, you can either use the amiibo figurine or you can able to play around with the actual cardboard cutouts of some of the characters themselves. You know, very similar to the ones in Mario Shuffle mode from Mario Party Star Rush, except the fact that the gameplay mechanics do a little bit more differently than this is. So, but either way though, I just want to point it out. Alright, so it looks like somehow Luigi doesn't have enough coins to able to purchase a star for, and, well, too bad for Peach, because somehow she always gets a 1, so as a result, yeah, I don't think she's able to actually just get herself... Oh, now she gets the, wait. Oh wait, she doesn't have enough coins, okay. I totally forgot about that, honestly, because I wasn't paying attention. Even with the amount of, coins counter, as you can tell. We were originally trying to get that cool slow dice block token, but unfortunately we didn't get a chance to do that. Alright, next minigame we have is Balloon Blast Bash. Even though we could have able to go for an awesome conclusion with Rapid River Race, but nope. Pump up your balloon, if it pops, you're out. So, it's a bit like Balloon Burst from Mario Party 1 and 2, except the notable difference now, that if you pop the balloon, that's if you somehow pop the balloon back in the old days, you win. But if you don't pop it, you lose the game. So you have to make it a little bit more bigger than everyone else is. So, alright, so let's go ahead and... Oh, come on! Oh, Mario lost, by the way. And somehow Peach and Luigi just somehow lose this. But we did manage to win. Oh, that was a really close one, actually, because if we somehow got screwed over by the end, we're probably not going to get those stars in time. But somehow we did. So yeah, at the end of the day, though, although we'll discuss more about the actual final thoughts of the game until whenever we get on to the final extra thing, until likely at some point in June, but until before when, God knows if someone else can able to do the next Mario Kart game, which is, of course, Mario Kart Super Circuit, that, well, we'll wait and see what happens there. Alright, so from now on, let's purchase 1 star as this. And by the way, if you manage to purchase 1 star in one of those 2 power stars in between, that I'm pretty sure the actual star the star itself will disappear, or in this case, it will able to go to a different place. So let's place that right here, or we'll go into that pipe right here, so that way we would be able to actually just to see how Peach goes by far for that specific point. And sadly for Mario, that he'll lose 6 coins. So yeah, that's as far as we can say about this mode. It's like a bare bones version of Mario Party, the one we used to. But all in all, it's just not a great representation of what the Mario Party used to be back in the old days, at least for some agreement out there. Including, like, you know, we had some fantastic years in the past for playing Mario Parties 1 through 8, because that is such a good time. Even especially noticeable of how the fact that, despite with some luck-based elements to it, but at least in the board's environments and stuff like that back in the old days was super fun to explore through. Mainly with the worlds it's based on in Mario Party 7 in terms of, you know, countries and stuff, and that's pretty much about it basically. Finish! Yeah, I just want to point that out right away because Piglet is the only one say that. So we come to award ceremony where, unlike Mario Party mode, that it doesn't give you bonus stars sadly, which is kind of a shame, but either way though, we're able to just see the award ceremony, and that's pretty much about it. So it tells us who's in 4th place, 3rd place, 2nd place, and 1st place in particular. So for the sake of clarity, Mario was in 4th place, Luigi's in 3rd place, and Peach was in 2nd place, and the number 1 is our glorious Toad amiibo. And it also is the reason why we got the Toad amiibo back in the day, just because of that Captain Toad Treasure Tracker amiibo update and stuff like that. Whilst unlike, well, it does still has the amiibo functionality on the Switch and the 3DS versions, but either way though, that's all I can say about it. Alright, so we did manage to win the only board in terms of Amiibo Party, but then again, we'll show this off twice by the way, because either way though, we'll discuss more about this until whenever we get on to tomorrow, so... And let's take a look at the actual graphs quickly, so that we can see so highlight pictures and stuff like that. Specifically, we got some stars, so... And also you can see some graphs between stars and coins, and I think that's all I can say about it. So I think we should probably just end things off at this point right there. So join us tomorrow for more of Let's Play of Mario Party 10. It's the fact that we are going back onto Amiibo Party for the 2nd time, but except the fact that let's bring out our Bowser Amiibo figurine, because we'll discuss on that tomorrow. So see you guys until then.